riding a bicycle coast to coast for a great cause.
It gives you purpose in your life to do something for somebody else.
How tragedy at the Nutty Putty Cave inspired a desire to do good.
One teaching in the church that always rings true is that if you put the gospel first, everything falls into place.
Dancing to the beat and sharing the gospel. It's part of the BYU Spirit Squad Book of Mormon Challenge. And what started as a no swearing challenge at school has exploded into a national movement.
I kind of realized, once I started this club, one person can make a difference.
Now the No Cussing Club is over 35,000 members strong, and it all began with the desire to be a good example. That's all today on Mormon Times. Good morning and welcome to Mormon Times. I'm Kathy Aiken. It was the night before Thanksgiving 2009. What was supposed to be a fun holiday break for John and Emily Jones instead turned into tragedy. 1 year later, 4 returned missionaries stepped in to offer help.
Very, very tight.
It's a story that captivated not only Utahns, but people all around the world. It was November 2009 when John Jones got stuck inside the Nutty Putty Cave in Utah County.
I honestly didn't think it was a very serious issue, and it wasn't until later that I realized it was a problem, and that's when I drove out to the cave, and yeah, I got there.
Once John's brother-in-law got there, he realized it was a grave situation. Rescuers were unable to free him, and John died inside the cave. Soon afterward, the cave was permanently sealed.
My thoughts, I think, immediately went to my sister, how she was doing, and what her life was going to be like in the future.
Before his death, John was in medical school, and Emily was pregnant with their second child. So Dan decided to help his sister by raising money. He gathered a few friends to ride their bikes across the country. They started in Virginia on October 4th of last year.
It was actually really surprising to see how many people still remembered the story, even people outside of the church that were on the East Coast as well as those within the church. We just, meet random people at gas stations that would say, what, yeah, I remember that story, and that their prayers went out for Emily and her family.
All right, this is Tate.
So from Virginia, the group headed south to Florida, then west to San Diego. After 2.5 months on a bicycle seat and plenty of time to reflect, the returned missionaries all had life-changing experiences.
To kind of look outside yourself and realize, look, I'm really fortunate in what's happened to me in my life. How can I help people who aren't as fortunate?
How important it is to find joy in the journey every single day or every single semester of school, whatever it is, whatever stage of life we're going through, how important it is to enjoy it.
Some of their greatest joy came from meeting so many people across the country. They stayed in members' homes and gave numerous firesides in wards along the way.
We spent the night in Gilbert, Arizona, now we're in Tempe.
It really strengthened my testimony in the fact that people are generally good, that people really do love each other, and that we really can become like Christ.
It's like it talks about in Acts 10 where Christ went about doing good. I feel like in our own small way we're going about doing a good thing, and that really made a huge impact on people.
After their nearly 4,000-mile trek, the cyclists finished on December 10th in San Diego. Emily and her children were there to greet them. And while they all learned something different throughout the 10 weeks, they all agreed with this.
It gives you purpose in your life to do something for somebody else.
Yes, it certainly does. Well, the cyclists have raised nearly $16,000, but none of it will be going to Emily. Emily Jones joins us now via Skype from her home in Virginia to tell us why. And Emily, I understand that your brother Dan offered the money, but you declined it. Why did you do that?
Yeah, well, the story was so public. I just, when John died, it was, like you said, it was international, and I remember being so surprised when letters started coming in from all over the country and then from all over the world. And people were just sending their love and their support. And it really made me think as I started to hear stories about things that other people have gone through that have been at least as hard as what I was going through. And I knew what I had felt and what I had experienced. And I thought, I don't know how I would get through this without the support that I've received from my friends and family and even perfect strangers. And so when Dan came to me and said, I want to raise money to help send you back to school, I appreciated the offer because we have not a lot of money by any means, but I couldn't help but think of those people who go through something like this and have even less. And And so we came up with the idea to try to do it for those young widows and widowers.
That's exactly right. The money is going to other young widows around the country. Can you share, Emily, tell us how the gospel has helped you get through such a heartbreaking ordeal?
Yeah, I honestly have no idea how I would be able to face anything like this without the gospel. Knowing the plan of salvation, knowing that the Savior is there for me, that's the only thing that's helped me get through it. And also knowing that John is still out there looking out for me and my family, it's been a huge source of strength in my life.
Well, you have absolutely beautiful children. Your second child was born shortly after John's passing. Can you tell us about, we have him on screen right now, your beautiful little baby boy. He looks just like John.
Yeah, he does. He's amazing. He's such a big blessing in my life. I am so lucky to have my kids. I've also learned just from having two kids now, two's a little different than one. And it's pretty rough doing it without John around, but it has given me a lot of encouragement to know that I can do hard things and that the gospel is true and that our family's forever. And even though John isn't here, he's still here.
Emily, what a beautiful testimony you shared, and we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, coming up next, ridicule, even death threats wouldn't discourage this young man. He stood up to both when he started a no cussing club at his school in California. We'll be right back.